You're surrounded by people. The room is full, laughter is happening all around you. Someone is telling a story, and everyone else seems so locked in, so present, so connected. And you're standing right there in the middle of it all, nodding at the right moments, maybe even smiling. But inside, something feels completely hollow. Like you're watching the whole thing through a pane of glass, close enough to see it, but completely cut off from actually feeling it. That feeling. That specific, quiet, crushing feeling. That is what we are talking about today. And if you've ever felt it even once, I want you to know something important before we go any further. There is nothing wrong with you. Not even a little bit. In fact, research consistently shows that loneliness during social situations is one of the most common yet least talked about experiences that human beings have. People walk around smiling at parties feeling utterly alone inside, and nobody says a word about it because everyone assumes they're the only one. You are not the only one. Now I want to be straight with you from the start. We actually have a program linked down below in the video description that goes much deeper into everything I'm about to share with you. Thousands of people have already used it to completely transform how they experience social situations, and the results have been extraordinary. But here is what I need you to understand right now. Most people who feel this way never actually do anything about it. They just keep showing up, keep performing, keep pretending, and keep going home feeling emptier than before. If something in you is telling you that you're tired of that cycle, don't ignore that voice. Check out what's down below. Because the people who hesitate the longest are almost always the ones who look back and wish they had started sooner. But right now, let's go deep. Because you deserve to actually understand what's happening to you, and why. Picture this. You're getting ready to go somewhere. Maybe it's a family gathering, maybe it's a work event, maybe it's a birthday party for someone you genuinely like, and instead of feeling excited, your chest tightens. There's this low hum of dread that you can't quite name. You tell yourself you'll have fun once you get there. You tell yourself it'll be fine, so you go. And the moment you walk in, something shifts. Everyone else seems to already be in their groove, already laughing, already connected, already in conversations that feel effortless and warm. And you're standing there thinking, why does this always feel so hard for me? You drift from group to group, you say the right things, you ask the right questions, but the whole time you feel like a guest in your own life. Like you're performing a version of yourself that isn't quite real. And the most painful part, nobody can tell. From the outside, you look completely fine, maybe even social, maybe even like someone who's having a great time. But you know the truth. You feel invisible in a room full of people who can see you. That's not a small thing. That is an exhausting way to live. And here is what most people don't realize. That feeling has a root. It's not random, it's not just shyness, it's not just an introvert thing, it's not a personality flaw. Studies in social psychology have found that the experience of situational loneliness, that is, feeling alone even while surrounded by people, is almost always connected to something called disconnection from authentic presence. In plain terms, it means that some part of you has learned to be there physically while staying somewhere else emotionally. And that habit, that learned disconnection, got built over time. Through experiences that taught you it wasn't safe to be fully present. Through moments where you opened up and felt judged. Through conversations where you were physically heard but emotionally invisible, your nervous system learned to protect you. And it's doing its job. The problem is that the protection has become the prison. Think about the last time you left a social gathering. What did it feel like in the car on the way home, or later that night lying in bed? There's that quiet, almost embarrassing sadness, a feeling like you missed something, like you were right there but somehow didn't actually arrive. Like connection was happening all around you and you just couldn't quite reach it. That sadness is real. And it compounds over time, because every gathering that feels that way adds another layer, another piece of evidence that you're somehow different, that something about you just doesn't quite work the way it does for everyone else. But here is the pattern interrupt you need to hear right now. The people who look the most socially effortless in the room, the ones who seem to glide from conversation to conversation, the ones who leave you thinking, I wish I could just be like that. A significant number of them have felt exactly what you're feeling. The difference is not that they have something you don't. The difference is that at some point something shifted for them. Either they found the right information, had the right experience, or made a deliberate decision to stop allowing disconnection to be their default. And the shift is learnable. That's the part nobody tells you. Now let's flip this completely. Because I want you to feel something different for a moment. I want you to imagine what it would actually feel like to walk into a room and feel genuinely present, not performing, not scanning for an exit, not mentally rehearsing what you're about to say or replaying what you just said, just actually there, fully inside the moment. And imagine starting a conversation and feeling it land. Feeling the other person actually respond to the real you. Not the curated version, not the safe version, the actual you. And instead of that response making you anxious, it just feels easy, natural. like two people actually meeting each other. Imagine going home after a gathering and instead of that hollow sadness you feel something warm, something that actually resembles the word connected. Because real things happened, real moments were exchanged, real laughter came from a real place inside you. People who experience that consistently do not experience social situations as a drain. They experience them as something that actually fills them up. And the fascinating thing is that this doesn't require being extroverted. It doesn't require being the loudest person or the most charming or the best at small talk. The people who feel genuinely connected in social settings come in every personality type. What they share is not a personality. What they share is a certain relationship with presence. And once you understand how to build that relationship, everything changes. Not just how you feel at gatherings. Everything. Because the quality of your connections shapes the quality of your life in ways that science has been documenting for decades. Longitudinal studies tracking people over long periods of time have found that social connection, genuine connection, not just physical proximity to others, is one of the single strongest predictors of long-term well-being, mental health, and even physical health outcomes. People who feel genuinely connected live longer, experience less anxiety, report higher levels of meaning, and are dramatically more resilient in the face of hardship. That is not a small benefit. That is the difference between a full life and a quietly empty one. And here is the cost of doing nothing. Every year that you continue feeling alone in social situations is a year of relationships that stay surface level. A year of gatherings that drain you instead of fill you. A year of going home feeling invisible. A year of slowly building the belief that you are somehow less capable of connection than the people around you. That belief hardens over time. And eventually people stop trying. They stop showing up. They start turning down invitations. They build a smaller and smaller world around themselves because at least in a small world the disappointment is more manageable. That is the path that most people without the right support end up walking down. And the tragedy is not that they chose it. The tragedy is that they never realized there was a completely different path available to them. Now you might be listening to this and thinking, okay, but how? And that is exactly the right question. So let's get practical for a moment. One of the most powerful shifts that people make when they begin to genuinely overcome situational loneliness is learning to stop monitoring themselves from the outside. Most people in social situations are operating from a kind of split consciousness. Part of them is in the conversation, but another part of them is floating above, watching, evaluating, critiquing. How do I sound right now? Does this person like me? Did that come out weird? Is my face doing the right thing? That second voice is the disconnection, because you literally cannot be fully present in a moment while simultaneously watching yourself be present in it. It's neurologically impossible. The first step is simply learning to notice when that second voice activates, not to silence it or fight it, but just to notice. Because the moment you notice it, you're already a step ahead of being completely controlled by it. You can gently redirect your attention outward, into the actual person in front of you, into their eyes, their energy, the specific words they're choosing. What are they actually trying to express right now beyond the surface of what they're saying? When you get genuinely curious about another person, your nervous system shifts, the self-monitoring quiets, and something remarkable starts to happen. They feel it. People can feel when someone is genuinely curious about them versus just going through social motions, and they respond to it. Connection is not a performance, it's a direction of attention. And you can learn to point yours differently. This is just one layer of what transforms how people experience social situations. And the people who go through the kind of deep, structured work available in our program linked down below in the description often report that their entire experience of social life shifts in ways they genuinely didn't believe were possible for them specifically. Not for people in general. For them. That's the part that matters. Now here is my final word to you. You have spent enough time going to gatherings and coming home feeling like you weren't really there. You have spent enough time smiling on the outside while something in you quietly aches. You know what that feels like. And somewhere in you, you also know that you don't want to keep feeling it. The question is whether you are going to do something about it or wait until another year has passed and the pattern is even more ingrained. The program in the description exists for people who are genuinely ready to stop waiting, not the people who kind of want to change. The people who are actually serious about it. If you're still watching right now, that is not an accident. That is something in you recognizing that this is about you. Go check it out, right now, before anything else takes your attention. Because the next gathering is coming. And this time you can actually be there,